The other day we watched a series on Netflix called Hitler and the Nazis. And that's what I want to talk to you guys about today. And I know that at this point, I don't know, there are like a billion different documentaries about the evil of Hitler, around Hitler, out there. I have watched a ton of them, and I first got in contact with that through the school curriculum when I was around 12. That's when I read The Diary of Anne Frank, which, by the way, was way too fucking early. I had no, like, there was nobody to see me through that process, right? I just read it and I was alone with those thoughts, but that's neither here nor there. Why I like this particular documentary and why I would highly recommend you guys watch it is because it absolutely wholeheartedly makes it crystal clear that there was nothing like German resistance. And that's the myth that holds so tightly until today. And I'm going to give you some random facts to back that up, okay? First of all, let's be very fucking crystal clear who Hitler was. Hitler came to Germany for the sole purpose because he wanted to escape the mandatory serving of the Austrian army for boys of a certain age. So he left Austria to Germany in order for him not to serve in the military. Hitler was, per definition, a refugee in Germany. It gets even more ironic when you come to think of the fact that Hitler served in World War One, and that Germany losing World War One, which is kind of fucking insane. You left your country because you did not want to serve, then served in another country, then lost, and that losing increased your rage so insanely that you then decided to become a fucking dictator. Anyway, and there's this narrative that after the Second World War, Germany was like Nazified. Anytime somebody from outside Germany tells me this, and it's like, oh, Germany is so liberal, Germany is so progressive, I'm like, bitch, where? Where? How? What? I mean, probably there's another Germany I don't know about, but it's this country for what? First of all, Hitler was loved by the people. Let's be fucking for real. The majority of the country was in 100% agreement of what Hitler did. Stop with the whole, oh, the Germans, not all Germans were Nazis. Yes, the fuck they were. All Germans were Nazis, okay? The ones that were not in agreement could not voice it because they were not enough. They were not enough. They were not enough Germans. It's not as if the majority of Germans were actually not happy with Hitler, and therefore it was like a silent disagreement and they were just scared because the regime was this strong. No, bitch, absolutely not. The majority of the country, I would say, I don't know any numbers, but from my experience and, living here, being born and raised here, and, just knowing the history, like 90% of Germans were fully had Hitler's back, 100%. And in that documentary, you see original footage, and fucking trigger warning, you don't just see original footage of Hitler speaking, you also see footage of things. The dehumanization of Jewish people is insane, and I personally do not subscribe to that. I feel these people should have kept their dignity. Their families are out there, and the pictures of their ancestors are being used for historical purposes. I don't know. It will never sit right with me, but I'm not qualified to speak on that. That's just my personal opinion, okay? So when you see the whole progress of, Hitler had this vision of Germania, right? He was fucking insane. To an extent that he wanted to conquer Britain. He wanted to conquer France, which he kind of like succeeded. He was in control of Paris for like, I think 41 to 44, 40 to 44. I can't really remember. But he was in control of Paris for 4 good years, okay? He also went into the Soviet Union, and the Germans were not in disagreement. Mind you, Hitler wrote a book called Mein Kampf. In English, that means My Fight. Hitler laid out his intentions crystal fucking clear before he even started. Like, I mean, he wrote that book while in prison and he wasn't that powerful when he read the book. But by the time he rose to power, people knew what this man was up to. Listen, there is this narrative that, or at least that's what I think is the narrative of outside Germany, that, Hitler rose to power and all of a sudden he started killing Jews. No. That's not what happened. This man made it clear from the get-go that this was his intention. The topic of the Jewish question was very much on his agenda right from the get-go. I don't know who came up with this whole fucking shit, but it's not fucking true. Like, I cannot stop stressing this enough. The Germans were 100% with Hitler. They had his back. They sent their sons to go and fight for Hitler. They sent their sons to go and sign up for the German army so that they can do the honor of fighting for Hitler. Germans loved Hitler. There is a reason why in 2025, Germany is still not Nazified. There's a reason why the fucking AfD got 25% of voters' voices. This did not come from nowhere. Are you fucking dumb? Like the whole thing of, Germans resisted and Germans hate Jews. The fuck they did not. They fucking did not. Let me not even get fucking started on Oskar Schindler. I'm going to make a whole new other video about this because fuck no. Fuck no. How? I'm not even going to make another video about this because 2 sentences is enough. White saviorism in its entirety, okay? How the fuck did we get to an extent that somebody saving people from a genocide, which is like the bare fucking minimum of humanity, by the way, with the help of his Jewish secretary, with the help of the Jewish community, literally got cookies as the only fucking person that did it. As you fucking should. You were a rich white man. You were supposed to save people. Like, the bar for white people is in fucking hell. I despise the idea of people celebrating Oskar Schindler, but then again, I'm not Jewish. I'm not a descendant of people that survived the Holocaust, so this is not my cup of tea to speak on. I'm just judging from my opinion as a white person in a system that was built from and by us for us. How are we getting here that we are giving praises and benefits to an extent that he's the only member of the Nazi family that was buried in Jerusalem on Mount Zion? What's not clicking, Stephen? Like, how much more white saviorism do you want to play into this? That's not even enough. After Schindler left Germany for, was it Argentina or Paraguay? I can't remember. He came back to Germany and he was financed in 1959 or 56 or 58, anywhere between 56 and 59. He was financed by Jewish organization because he was broke. Like, the bar for humanity is in fucking hell. How do you save people from a genocide and then you become a hero? But the people that fought themselves into freedom, we don't know their names. I don't know nobody's Jewish names of that fought the regime, that fought for their people, that resisted. Nothing. Let me not even get started on other freedom fighters from other ethnicities, other tribes, other nationalities. Nowhere to be seen. But God forbid a white man saves 1,200 Jews. He's being remembered in the history of humanity forever and a day. But we don't give that same energy to non-white heroes. But let me just not. Anyway, I could have said this in 2 minutes. However, Germans were never against Hitler. Okay? The majority of Germans were in absolute full agreement with Hitler. They celebrated, they loved Hitler, they loved the idea. They participated in labeling Jews, hurting Jews, killing Jews. These people participated with their chest. Okay? They were happy. They loved it. They were all up there. They needed someone to blame. The Jewish people were to blame. They fell for the propaganda and they paddled back later because they were like, oh, I didn't know about shit. Yes, the fuck you did. Yes, the fuck you did. Germans knew. There's an interview of people that live in Dachau. They were asking them how did you guys not know? They smelled the bodies being burned. They heard people screaming. How the fuck do you, in Birkenau, Auschwitz-Birkenau, 1 million people were murdered. How the fuck did you not see millions of trains, people being carried inside there, but trains came out empty and nobody ever cared to ask questions because they were so few of them that they were of no power. Germans were in agreement of World War II. Stop playing.